It is, because that's one of my core beliefs, right? For negotiation, it's not for me to go take advantage of somebody, right? My goal is how can I add value, and how can that person also add value to me? For an example, because we have people who sell things on the street, right? And so if I want to buy stuff from that person, I told her where I am now, the way I would negotiate with that person is not how I would have negotiated with that person like 10, 20 years ago when I didn't have as much resources as I have now. So I'm not going to go there, even if I know it's priced a little bit higher. I'm not going to start negotiating, nickels and dimes with that person, because that's just being mean, right? Because my goal is, even if this person takes $1 more from me, what difference does that make to me in the grand scheme of things? My goal is not to nickel and dime everybody. My goal is to add value. And just like you said, with trust, when someone trusts you, the next time you're doing business with them, they're not watching their back saying, okay, I don't know what this person is going to do. It just makes your next negotiation a lot easier when they see the value you're adding to them.
And trust increases the speed, decreases cost. Trust being, it's not a one-time act. It's
cumulative.
It's a cumulative, and it's a relationship.
Welcome to Negotiation Secrets. This is your #1 negotiation podcast for professional women who are who want to leverage their negotiation skills. Whether you are an entrepreneur or you are an employee, this is a podcast where you would gain skills and knowledge to take you to your next level. In each episode, I have women from different parts of the world, different stages in their career, and sometimes I have men as well to share their stories with us, and then we can glean from their knowledge and get better. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Esoimeme. I'm an internal medicine physician, I'm a negotiation coach, and I have a PhD in health services policy and management. Today, I have someone who is very dear to me. Her name is Hiba Al Masoud. She is from the United Arab Emirates, and she is a 2-time founder. She's someone who is so honest and very direct. She tells things as they are. That's how I found her at a conference. People were saying something different. She was like, no, that's not true. You will find out when we talk today. She's as real as it gets. Heba, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Gloria.
Of course. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What part I want you to share is a part of how you transition from being an employee into being a founder of 2 companies.
Yeah, definitely. So I started my career working in aviation.
Yes.
And I was doing sales, and I found it very hard to look for other jobs at the time, because I wanted to transition out of, not just out of aviation, but I wanted to specialize in something. And
but I would think sales is being a specialist at something.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because when you're doing aviation sales, you can't really do medical sales. It's very, you're kind of cornered into the industry that you're doing sales for. And obviously, if I was to switch, it was either like, the airline I was working in, or the airline, in the next door city.
Yes.
So I started to apply for jobs. Obviously, it was COVID. COVID had just started, and we found out about COVID before the world found out about COVID, because some of the airplanes were coming back, and there was people that.
So you guys were in the airline business, so you knew.
Exactly. We kind of saw it coming. So I think in November 2019 was when we first started to notice.
You're kidding me, because I'm a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know until it was like 2020. So you guys knew the real COVID-19.
Yes.
We knew the COVID-20.
Exactly. I was gonna say, we didn't know it was gonna be that bad, a pandemic, but we did kind of see we started to shut down routes and whatnot. Wow. So obviously aviation was a standstill in COVID, and I started to apply for different jobs in banking, different jobs in marketing and commerce. I didn't get any interviews or any callbacks. Wow. Actually, I probably applied to like hundreds of jobs at the time. Some through connections, some just naturally on LinkedIn. And I started to get really, really frustrated. I was like, okay, but how come I'm not? Is it because of my CV? Am I not you know, good enough? Am I not specialized enough? Am I, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, and then I noticed a bunch of my friends also
We're going through the same
going through similar.
thing.
Yeah, either they were in jobs that they were unhappy or they were being let go.
Was this also the aviation industry that your friends were in?
No, everybody was, some were, yes, but some were outside. So I was like, okay, but everybody, I kept watching the news and it kept saying, you know, this sovereign wealth fund is investing in dark kitchens. This is like investing in ghost kitchens. I'm like, what is ghost kitchens? What is dark kitchens? But basically what it is just a delivery only restaurant. So you're going away from the brick and mortar, the whole dining and experience. It just focuses on delivery. So I was like, okay, this I think is gonna be a hit. And I have a bunch of friends around me
who are looking to pivot.
Who are also looking to pivot.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, let's do it, you know. And luckily, I was blessed with 2 other co-founders at the time.
So this was you and 2 other people?
2 other
all
people.
All females, or were they?
No, they were 2 guys, and I was
You were the only female?
Yeah.
And were they founders, or they were just also people who were just you?
One of them was a founder, yes,
okay.
and he had previous F&B. The other one, not so much, no. And we kind of came together and we decided to start Sauce Capital.
Whoa.
And slowly, like we ended up building a lot of traction. We were fortunate to get, you know, investors as well. And we ended up raising a good amount for pre-seed. And then we kind of just put the team together and it just happened. But I never had planned that, you know, I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It just, I kind of fell into it. And I'm super lucky to
You thought you were going to get another job?
I thought I was going to get another job, exactly, in banking or, you know, XYZ, you know, because my dad's a banker. So.
Okay. So question for you.
Yeah.
So did you, before you guys got funding, did you guys already had like some results? Because where I see most people having problems is that they said, oh, I have this great product. And then people are nervous to kind of fund them because they're like, I'm not asking that you scale big time, but show me that this is viable. Did you guys have a viable product with some results before you started?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We got a lot of people that trusted us at the beginning, but thanks to, you know, the UAE, me being Emirati, you know, my father helping out a lot. So it probably more, it was family and friends for the first round. But we did have to convince them that it was a good idea.
Of course.
And honestly, at the time, it was quite different because there was not a lot. I think there was only one other dark kitchen company that was going, that had just started, but it was still very brand new. So as a concept, it was still new in the UAE market. And we started in Abu Dhabi, whereas most of the food delivery,
it's in Dubai,
you know, and the dark kitchen that had the company before us was already in Dubai as well.
But I think that's strategic and smart, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. It was right timing, right place, right people.
Right, because
you know?
Was COVID kind of like a blessing to the business? Because
it was a blessing to me, and not just the business, even in my personal life, like everything. Because I think it just forced everybody to slow down and reassess their life.
Yeah.
And reassess what they really want to do, because we finally all had the time. And
correct.
In aviation, I also had asthma, so I was a high-risk person. So I couldn't actually, even when people went back to work, because it took me time to quit. I ended up, you know, doing both at the same time till I had.
Until you're sure it could fly.
Yeah. So I actually couldn't go back into the office for so long. So I was like, okay, this is boring. Like I need to
do something.
And I'm the type of person that's very active. Just generally, you know. I'm not very loud, but I'm very active.
I like that.
So yeah.
And so you guys got funding.
And
then how long did it take for this concept to fully develop, from when it was just an idea to when you guys actually delivered your first meal?
It took a long time. We had a test kitchen for a while. We rented out in hotels, like the dead kitchen, kitchen spaces that they weren't using. We had to do a lot of testing with F&B in general.
So what is F&B for people who do not know what F&B stands for?
Food and beverage, like just the food industry in general.
Industry,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. There's a lot of different licensing that you need, and controls and food safety and all sorts of things. So it did take us a long time
like
to actually.
How long? Was it up to a year?
We registered in July 2020.
Yeah.
And we probably first started delivering in September, November.
Same year?
And then we launched our app. Yeah, same year. And then we launched our app. But we didn't launch all our, it was still just a very simple operation.
Yeah, but that's not, I don't think that's too long. I think if you, yes, because from concept to when you deliver the first meal, because what I'm asking is
But we delivered our first, the concept was to do a delivery app. So that took a year to finish.
Got it.
And then we did a lot of different updates on the app and changes. So we delivered our first meal sooner.
Right.
But then the app and the full business took 2 years, I would say, to fruition. Yeah.
Because what I'm asking is that some people have business ideas, and because the idea is great, they think it's just once you have the idea, the next thing is that it's going to happen. It's just so people realize how much time and how much back and forth it takes for you to actually fully launch your idea into a product that's out there. Yours took you 2 years.
Yeah, and we were very lucky that it took 2 years. I think it would have taken other teams probably longer than that.
What was the difference? What was the magic sauce?
We were all young. I think that helped.
How old, if you don't mind me asking?
So the average age was 27 years old at the time. I was 26.
Yeah, you guys were young.
So we were quite young, but I don't think it's because we were young. I think it's because we had the right team, right? But the team characteristics, let's say, one of them was that we were quite young, we were quite active, we were quite hungry, literally and figuratively. Everybody wanted to, prove themselves and prove to the world that we can do this and that it's not, impossible. And I think I totally agree with your point that it takes people a while to start.
Yeah.
The problem is hard work is invisible. People only see the results, so they assume that but then a lot of people also get stuck before, taking the first, exactly. And it used to happen to me. But this was the first business that, let's say, I launched, I registered successfully, but I tried to do a lot of things before that didn't work. But I wasn't taking those seriously, you know.
So what made this different for you? Was it because you were tired of your job and COVID and it was just?
I think accountability. When you have a co-founder,
it's a different ballgame.
Even when you're trying to give up or when you're losing momentum or whatever, the team is still going. So you go with them as well.
Let me ask you a question, because the last podcast I talked to a lawyer. And we talked about negotiation. I asked her what negotiation did she experience that went south, and so she talked about how she advises founders that when they all start with the same interests, but as time goes on, the interest starts to be different, and then then the cohesion in the group starts to shift. So my question for you is, how do you choose a team? And this is not, probably you went in not knowing the answer, but hindsight, now you know the answer. So if you want to go into a business venture, what should you look out for to create your team?
I think you should look to people that you're comfortable working with. I don't think you need shared interests. I don't think you need shared educations. I don't think you need shared, but you need shared vision, and you need
shared vision
and comfort, but that vision, it could be different, right? But as long as you're going to the same place, which is success, let's say, in my case, then absolutely.
That's just I think shared vision. Yes.
Yeah. And they say they always say in management and in the books and stuff, you need in order to lead a team and motivate a team, you need to have a shared vision. That's how you can motivate basically everybody to work their best, let's say, or show up their best.
So this first venture that you had, why? And was that the one you sold it, right?
Yes.
Why? What happened?
You have to let go of whatever it is. So I think there's no one size fits all. And I think in business in general, there's no one size fits all. There's no right or wrong answers.
Right. You should just know when it's time to let go based on your goals for the business in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you were the only female with 2 men.
Yeah.
You know, and people have this mindset, and I have seen that women show up differently in business, in life than men. So in your experience, what have you seen different, the way women show up? It does not necessarily have to be you, or it could be you and a new version of you emerged. Yeah. How do you see women show up differently from men?
I wouldn't polarize that situation that way, but I'll tell you generally in my career.
Yeah.
Generally in my career, I was always one of the rare women. Even now in some of the business networks I'm involved in, I'm always like one of the only females there. So I was always used to that. I was blessed to have a father like mine who always like involved me in business decisions and would always like ask me things. So I never looked at myself as I'm a woman and these are men. I never noticed it actually. I started to notice it now, looking back. But at the time, I never felt that, oh, you know, I'm a woman, I'm going to show up differently.
You just saw yourself as an individual who needed to get things.
I just saw myself as an individual. And I think, like, the more you label women as women, the more we get stuck in that bracket, you know. Leadership is different styles, right? You know, everybody has a different styles. Women tend to be, you know, more empathetic. They tend to be more perfectionist. They tend to be, you know, more patient, just because they're used to competing with men.
Correct.
And of course the stats are there. Men do get paid like higher. They do get hired faster. There's a lot of positions that prefer males over females, but if you like, I think statistics should stay statistics. You know, I never let it impact me, because I think if you let it impact you, it will show up in your work.
For sure. Because that's part of what I also talked to with the lawyer who I talked to. You know, she said she came in here. She came in from Australia, was practicing law there, and then she came to the UAE, and she saw that the practice of law in the UAE was a little bit different from the way it was in Australia.
Yeah.
And she didn't stop to start saying, no, I want to change the system. All she did was pivot and say, okay, how can I bring all the skills that I have in here and thrive? Yeah. And I told her of my experience that I do not go against the tide.
Yeah.
So if the tide, I get on the tide and let the tide take me, so it becomes an easier flow. However, if I'm in a place where that tide is not going in the direction I'm going, I'm not going to jump in the wrong tide. At the same time, I'm going to take a step back and find the one that's going to take me to where I'm going, rather than I get on the tide and then I'm trying to fight the waves.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I think there's things that you're in control of, and then there's external.
You can
exactly.
control.
If you focus on the things you can't control, it gets exhausting.
Yes.
So yeah.
So this first business, you guys sold that business, and then what was the next business you founded?
So I started my next venture while I was still, involved in my first venture. Also it was, I don't want to say mistake, but like it wasn't
just
planned.
Happened.
It just happened. I had studied PR. And I had worked at an agency before.
So PR is public relations?
Public relations,
and where did you get that? Tell me a little bit about your education, then we'll go back to this.
Yeah, of course. So I studied business for my bachelor's in the UK, and then I did a master's in communications in Chicago.
Okay.
And I worked at a PR agency, or rather it's a global communication agency. It's huge.
Okay.
And then I worked in PR for Emirates as well.
See.
So just, bringing in all those different experiences, I'm really good at communication. I'm drawn to it as, a subject, as a practice. And I wanted to, share my gift in the most humble way.
You don't have to put, you wanted to share, it's your gift, gift, right? It's yours,
True. I wanted to share my knowledge and the things, and I felt there was a gap in the market also for holistic agencies that look at businesses not just from, a media perspective or social media perspective, something that looks at, you know, communications as a holistic thing that brings the business, you know, brand equity and brings the business results. And so I started Scope with one of my best friends. Again, I love working with friends.
So is that the same? Was that any of the friends from the previous business, or this is another? No, is it male or female?
Female.
Okay.
Female. So it was a different experience. We wanted to keep it small because we wanted to stay boutique. And we would cap the number of clients that we work with annually at a certain number, so that we're still delivering the feeling that, okay, we're external, but we're an internal company. Yeah. And through that experience, I got to work with a lot of different industries. I got to learn about so many other businesses. I got to give back also some of my learnings, of course, to other founders and teams. And yeah, I think it started like we had a phone call, me and her. We had our first client before we had our registration. And they were in sustainability, and that was her specialty. Right. So that's why I actually went to her. I didn't go to her because I wanted to start an agency. I was like, listen, there's this like client. I really want to work with them. What they're doing is really cool. I really resonate with their, you know, brand. They're in sustainability. How about like you help me and I can outsource you like as a consultant? I was like, we can both be like outsourced consultants. Yeah. And she's like, no, let's like register it. Like, let's go ahead. And I was like, you're right, actually, let's go ahead with it. And we ended up starting Scope that way. We were just in a cafe talking. And yeah, that's
Scope is still ongoing till now.
Scope is still ongoing. We are expanding. Our team is growing. We registered in end of 2023, so it's been
about 2 years plus.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit dormant for the beginning phase. After that first client we didn't get many clients after that. It kind of like did stop, but then we picked it up again, and now we're both at a place where like, okay, no, we're ready to like go back into the entrepreneurial world full force. And yeah, I'm blessed to work with my best friend. I think there's no better way to work, really.
Any reason why the business slowed for a while, or was it because you're trying to develop the brand, because you just pivot from, you know, the food and beverage industry now to marketing, and you were trying to, so not trying to put words in your mouth, just wondering why it took a while for it to kick out?
It took a while for it to kick off because we had a hard time finding clients. And we had a hard time structuring our business. We didn't know if we wanted to specialize in an industry or we wanted to keep it broad. We didn't know if we wanted to just work with startups or keep it broad. So we were not sure, and we kind of wanted our experience to shape the
direction the business goes.
The direction of the business, and I think that was the right thing for us to do as well at the time. I think because we started off slow, we didn't lose momentum.
Correct.
In a way, we didn't like burn out, out, you know.
I think it's interesting that because people would say the vision would drive how would drive the activities, but yours, it was the opposite way. The activity
completely.
That's interesting. I've never
Yeah, I'm a very non-conventional founder, by the way. Like with both businesses, I did it very differently than what was being done. But it's not, I wasn't planning on doing it differently. It
just happened.
It just happened. But I think, you know, I've been lucky to travel the world and meet so many different founders and attend so many different conferences. And every time I talk to a founder, I find out that, you know, they've also done it differently in another way. And again, like we see the highlights of people's journey, but we don't see the
behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes,
all the failures, all the tears, all the projects, all the pitches that went wrong, all the
Absolutely. I think any idea can work. Any business can work.
You really think so?
I really think so. If you have the right founder and the right team, any idea can work.
But there's some ideas that just will not work. There's some ideas, I believe some ideas will not work. Like let me just pick the one that won't work. Like you go to, you want to sell.
Let's say fur, because fur coats are like, it's a hot country. Let's use that as an example. Yeah, if the founder really wants to make it work, like if it was me, for example, and I was like, I'd come up with a strategy that maybe I'm manufacturing here, but selling abroad. that, you know,
I see what you mean.
Or I'd find ways to make fur, you know, usable on
It doesn't
furniture.
have to be the whole, yes, it doesn't have to be the whole jacket.
Exactly.
It could just be like some design on an outfit.
Exactly. It could be just keychains.
Yeah.
Or something simple like that. Something that, you know, so I think any idea can be retrofitted to any market, really. It's just the one consistent thing I see in all successful businesses is the founder and the team.
So how do you pick your team?
Me, how do I pick my team?
Yes, because the founders, from your experience, it seems those were people who you were just blessed with. They were your friends, but you knew, okay, these are people I can do business with, right?
Yeah, it wasn't all my friends. Like I still have, you know, so many
friends that you've not done business with.
Yeah, and that I refuse to do business with as well.
But how do you pick your team members?
I was always good, and it came naturally to me, but I found out later that this is something I'm good at. It's like uncovering people's talents. Wow. When I was putting my first team together, one of my close friends, he's a pilot, and he decided to stop flying, and but he was very talented with like logistics and operations, and I was like, okay, he'd be the perfect like COO for my company, and he really was. He built over, you know, so many kitchens.
So what was it about him that made you know he was going to be good for it?
I just knew it because I know him as a person, and I know that he would be good at it. Because just looking at his skill set, looking at his track record within the workspace, obviously.
Yes. So you look at their track record and their skill set. Yeah.
I think I'm very passionate about one topic when it comes to hiring. Yeah. It's like talent isn't on CVs, you know. I didn't get employed by so many companies.
So talent is not on CVs?
It's not. Talent is in the character, and it's really hard
that's a tweetable.
Yeah.
Yeah, talent is it's not on CVs. It's in the character. That's when you know what talent people have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was unemployable, let's say.
Correct, but here you are.
But actually, I have everything that
it takes to run a business.
Absolutely.
Because if you were employed, probably you may have been employed by someone who started the business that you could have started.
Exactly. Yeah. I had applied to the food sector as well. I had applied to literally all the industries, and even with PR and communications, I had applied to many agencies as well. At the time that I worked at an agency, I was an intern, so I was making zero.
Correct.
So I went from being an executive at, in the government, working for an airline, to being an intern and getting zero. And I didn't say, oh my God, no, I'm too good for this.
Wait.
No,
okay,
you know.
Question. So when did you? So tell me, I missed that part of the journey where you moved from an executive to go to being an intern.
Yeah.
At what time? What phase did that happen?
So that was in 2020 as well.
Okay.
It was right when I had just started my first company. I was sitting at home, still working for the airline. And I was just about to quit actually from the airline, that's why. So I had already like crystallized my decision. I had applied, I was so fortunate to meet a lady at like a gathering, and she's like, you're really good at communicating, like, and you studied communications. Why haven't you worked in communications? She's like, I have a friend who's a partner at, a big agency. You should go work with her. And she like literally took my CV, ironically, sent it to her, but the only reason I got the call back was because it was a connection of hers. Correct. And they're like, listen, we really like you, and like we want to interview you and stuff, but like we only have internship positions empty. And I was like, okay, listen, it works out great because I just started a business, and I'm just came out of a very intense corporate job. I would appreciate some flexibility if you let me come into the office or work like 3 times a week, then I'll do it. I ended up working 5 times a week.
But you had that option. You negotiated that part.
Exactly. I negotiated that part. And people thought I was crazy. My friends were like, how you're a manager?
And then
like,
now you're an intern.
And you were an intern. And I was getting paid. I was very fortunate. I was getting paid a lot as well. And now zero.
But it's important to know when it's okay to take a pay cut, right? Because
Absolutely.
even though it looked like you were taking a pay cut, but you were there learning skills that would produce so much more.
I learned so much. I learned all about, and everything I learned, I applied to my business and now my agency.
So back to what you were saying, you said a place where the kind of job where you were an intern, then you founded. It's not like you were working there, you founded something similar.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. A few years later.
Yeah.
But like, it was my first time working in communications.
Yes, but
PR.
even though we say it's a few years later, we're not saying it was 20 years later. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
So it's not like oh, now look at me after 20 years of running around.
No. Yeah.
It was like
True. In retrospect, absolutely.
Yeah. So this show is called Negotiation Secrets.
Yeah.
So when you negotiate, what's your number one negotiation superpower?
Trust. I think building trust is like negotiation is basically trust. And I think people approach negotiation as they're trying to convince someone something or they're trying to win. I think if you look at negotiation as a problem solving, it starts, negotiation starts before, like when you first touch point with a person. And my advice to anybody negotiating is build trust and try to co-author the because people are gonna accept not because they have to, they're gonna accept because they want to. So you have to show mutual benefit, and that's what trust is. And I think negotiation starts with intent, and the intent always has to be the mutual benefit of you and that person. And if you don't have one now, find one.
That's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
That truly it is, because that's one of my core beliefs, right? Because I was on a podcast a few days ago, and then someone was asking me, oh, so when you negotiate, when is it time for you? There was a way she asked the question, and I told her, negotiation, it's not for me to go take advantage of somebody, right? My goal is how can I add value, and how can that person also add value to me? And I gave her an example, because she was I'm Nigerian, and she was in Nigeria. The person asking this question was in Nigeria. And I gave her an example, because we have people who sell things on the street, right? And so if I want to buy stuff from that person, I told her where I am now, the way I would negotiate with that person is not how I would have negotiated with that person like 10, 20 years ago when I didn't have as much resources as I have now. So I'm not going to go there, even if I know it's priced a little bit higher. I'm not going to start negotiating, nickels and dimes with that person, because that's just being mean, right? Because my goal is, even if this person takes $1 more from me, what difference does that make to me in the grand scheme of things? My goal is not to nickel and dime everybody. My goal is to add value. And just like you said, with trust, when someone trusts you, the next time you're doing business with them, they're not watching their back saying, okay, I don't know what this person is going to do. It just makes your next negotiation a lot easier when they see the value you're adding to them.
And trust increases the speed, decreases cost. It's everything. I read an amazing book when I was very young. It's by Stephen Covey. It was called The Speed of Trust. And it's one of my favorite books. And everybody, I read a lot, and I have a big library at home, and people always come over, they're like, what's your favorite book? And I'm like, Speed of Trust. And it literally taught me everything that I know. Every time, and I've reread it a few times as well.
Yeah.
And it talks about that. It talks about how you build trust.
Yes.
And it talks about trust being, it's not a one-time act. It's
cumulative.
It's a cumulative, and it's a relationship.
It is.
At the end of the day. And with negotiation, at the end of the day, what is negotiation? It's you're trying to kind of, I don't want to say win someone over, but like
sort of, kind of,
win someone's decision, let's say, over. And like that happens instantly if you trust the person and the person trusts you back.
Correct.
And I think it's intent. Intent is very important. You have to have the right intent.
So Heba, I just moved to the UAE a few months ago, And I met you. We're having this conversation because I met you at an event where I really didn't know anybody. There was, I just went for networking to see what's out there. So for someone who moves to a different country, and I'm asking you this because I know you've thrived in different worlds. You were in the US, you were in the UK, you're here. So what would you recommend for someone who wants to move to a new country, a new city, a new state, or a new place to get grounded and to find support?
Yeah, I think there's, if you're a female, there's always female networks that you can join. If you're in a particular industry, there's so many different conferences that you can go to.
So conferences is a good place to get plugged into a society.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you can make a lot of business and personal relationships at conferences, trade shows, exhibits even. And not just attending these things, it's also, going up to people and talking to them, because you never know. That
part, because I'll tell you a story. So a few weeks ago, I went for an art exhibition here in Dubai. I love art. There was, because I wasn't an artist, most of the people there were people who actually had their artwork in there. So I stood and I was looking at some of them. You see some people, they kind of hold on to their art, they're standing there nervous, not networking. And then you see some people, because that's the difference, right? When you go to a conference or you go for an event, it's not just going there.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do shy people break out of that mode and actually talk to people? How do you do that?
Just approaching them one-to-one, maybe coming up with, preparing what you're going to say.
Okay.
If you heard them say a particular thing that resonated, maybe just echoing that. But even sometimes just introducing yourself, I've done that myself many times, and I ended up, having lifelong friendships after that. Also volunteering.
So volunteering for the conference itself?
Volunteering either for the I didn't think of that. It could be for the conference or just volunteering in general. There's always volunteering websites, giving back to society. You'll meet other volunteers, and I think when you give back, there's a certain energy that comes to you. And I was, fortunate enough to follow that process, and I met a lot of people after, not from the volunteering itself, just I feel like the energy and God.
And it's like a snowball. But I think, and this takes us back to what you were talking about with a negotiation, where you said the intent. There are people who are just takers. You can go far by being a taker.
Yeah.
If you meet somebody, fine. I'm not saying that you give without you thinking of how you can be replenished, but also think about how you can add value to people. Because I think
absolutely, absolutely. My dad used to always tell me when I was younger, before you ask for something, offer something. Always. And I think that's definitely a secret also to forming really strong relationships.
I want to take this conversation to a different level.
Yeah.
And I'm taking this conversation to a different level because I've talked to you before, and there's something interesting that you do. Can you tell me about your DJing?
Ooh, yes. So I love music.
Yes.
My face lights up. I feel
literally.
music.
You didn't know that's what I was going to ask, right? You're like, what is she going to ask me?
I did not think of that. I love music so much, and I started DJing or learning how to DJ around a year ago.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky to have a lot of friends that are also in the same space, but professionally.
Yes.
I started out as a hobby, but now I'm like thinking, okay, maybe I do actually want to play at events and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you going to invite me to your parties when you have?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What kind of music do you, what's your genre when you?
So I grew up listening to classic rock and metal and like very
here in the UAE.
Here in the UAE, I swear. Like my first concert was called Desert Rock, and I got to see like Iron Maiden, Stone Sour. So I was like a pretty punk rock star kid.
You're full of surprises.
Full of surprises. Then I got into R&B when I was in university.
Yeah.
Then Afrobeats. After that, I got into Afrobeats a lot.
So who's your favorite Afrobeat musician? Because I'm Nigerian, we do Afrobeats a lot. Oh, really? I don't even know who that person is.
He's amazing. Omale, you know his songs for sure.
Which of his songs?
Oh my God, all his songs. Lonely, There's a few.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have to go look him up.
He's my favorite.
He is.
But now I produce and I mix mostly Afro house, melodic, minimal, mostly house music. That's definitely my genre now.
So when do you think you're gonna have a party?
Soon.
Oh, but you're gonna give me something to work with so I can start getting ready.
Maybe next month.
Oh, that's soon. No, that's soon.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. I'll be looking forward to getting the invite to the party next month.
Yep.
Oh, wow. And I was talking to, we're talking about hobbies. For me, if you ask me what my hobbies are, I can't really say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know I like to talk.
Yeah.
So talking to people is like a hobby, because I went to a cafe. I sat down, was eating. There was a guy opposite me, and then we started talking. He said, "What do you do for fun?" I said, "This, just talking to people. I enjoy talking to people."
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I don't know what I do. I don't know if you ask me what's my hobby. I really don't know anything that has to do with people. However, there's this girl who told me about, skydiving. Okay. And my guest, who is a lawyer, I'm trying to get her into skydiving. I don't know if you want to do it with us. So the three of us will go skydiving together. Is that something you're open to?
Yes.
Next month?
Yes.
Next month?
We'll talk about
young
it.
Camera. She tried to dodge too. She tried to dodge too, but I got her like, no, let's just do it. It's on camera. Let's do it. Let's do it, Heba. You would love it.
Yeah. No, I do want to try it one day for sure. I know
one
that
day is like
yeah.
It's just like any goal that has no date assigned to it. It doesn't happen.
So true.
Let's do it next month.
Because we're gonna do it next month.
Woohoo! I've gotten 2 people on camera.
Yes. It's a good negotiation tip. Get people.
This feels like bullying.
If you want to ask for something, invite them to your podcast.
Yes, and ask. So what's in the future for you? Where do you see your life going in the next future?
I think I'm gonna grow my agency, stay in that. I'd like to start a fund that invests in women-led startups. I would like to just invest more in general. I see that definitely in my future. I see music in my future.
For sure. DJ. What would be your DJ name?
I actually have a DJ name already.
What is it?
Hibiscus.
Whoa. Hiba hibiscus.
No, because like the hibiscus flower is I love colors. And the hibiscus flowers is very calm and it's very tropical.
Yeah.
It's a very like islandy.
I love the drink.
And it makes you feel calm.
Yes.
Generally, I show up in a very calm
You do show up
way.
in a calm way. Okay. DJ Hibiscus. All righty. What last words do you have for my audience?
Last words. I think just be you. Because that never fails.
It never fails.
And it's the only thing that's unique to you.
Correct.
And negotiation is super important. Going back to your topic.
Yes.
And negotiation starts with trust. And I think people need to focus on building trust in people rather than having like 10 friends. Build like 3 connections with people that you trust and they trust you.
Oh, wow. So that's just gold. So I usually end my podcast with 3 asks. So the first ask is based on the conversation that I had with my guests. So initially, and it would be one thing, but for you, I don't know. I think I'm going to make it 2 things that I'm going to ask them to do.
Yeah.
So the first thing you said that really just kind of like, made me think outside the box was that any idea can work. You just have to retrofit the idea.
Absolutely.
So if you are working an idea that it looks like it's not working out, no, it can work, but you just have to tweak it to fit the environment. So whoever's working on an idea, just try to tweak it. And then the second thing, and that cuts across everybody, is for you to build trust. Because that trust will go a long way. It's a currency that would not fail you.
Absolutely.
And then the second ask is, I want you to like and follow this podcast, subscribe, share it with your friends. And then the last ask, as I always leave you, I strongly believe that everyone has the potential to be great. So go be great. Heba, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.